Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily Dizzle for Wednesday, December 15th, 2010. We have 10 days. Count that, a week and a half until Christmas Day. If you haven't done your shopping yet, you still got to run out. Got some time to get that done. Today on the Daily Dizzle, we've got a little bit of new movie news in the way from Eminem, Seth MacFarlane, the creator of Family Guy. We've got some news on Iron Man 3 in the case of who won't be joining us in the new Iron Man who was previously around. We have new movie news from Adam Sandler, and you all love him, and if you don't, you'll at least figure out very soon that I do. We've got new movie news from John Cusack coming out. We also have the debut of the Dizzlemits Celebs split report. A few couples breaking up. It seems that everyone's either dying or breaking up these days in Hollywood. So comes a point where you just can't ignore it anymore. So at this point, we're going to have to give our opinions on some of them. We also have the debut of the Trailer Park Roundup. We'll have a few new trailers that we didn't get to before, as well as some additional ones that just came out in the last couple days, like the new Pirates trailer, the new Fast and the Furious trailer, and a few others. Like we said, we got a lot of new movie news to get to. Some of it we didn't get to yesterday. Some of it just came out in the last couple hours. First off, Eminem is going to be doing another movie soon. You haven't really seen him on screen since 8 Mile, but he will be teaming up with the creator of Sons of Anarchy for a boxing film called Southpaw. Apparently, it's designed to be a star vehicle for him. It's about a fast-rising welterweight boxer brawls his way to the title only to see his world crash down around him due to tragedy. He then fights to reclaim past glory for his young daughter, so it's almost spin on Rocky, as every boxing story seems to be. And they say they're doing it as a metaphorical narrative for the second chapter of Eminem's life. Though I thought, obviously 8 Mile was the actual story of his life, wasn't it? So why do you gotta go metaphorical with it from here? Whatever. Mila Kunis and Adam Scott are in negotiation to join Seth MacFarlane's first movie that he's going to be doing as a director, called Ted. It's a mix of live action with computer animation, so essentially it seems like it's going to be like Family Guy, how Brian with the dog, he talks to everyone. Essentially think of Brian as a CGI character and everyone else is real. It's going to be about a 30-something Boston man who is going to be played by Mark Wahlberg. Apparently, after doing comedy in The Other Guys recently, this past summer, made over $100 million, everyone realizes that he can actually do comedy. So Seth MacFarlane, of course, had to snap him up for this role, whereas 30-something Boston man whose childhood teddy bear comes to life and is now a cursing, smoking delinquent that prevents the man from maturing. Of course, that teddy bear is going to be voiced by Seth MacFarlane. Kunis is going to play Wahlberg's girlfriend, who wants their relationship to move to the next level, and is sick of the bear. Adam Scott, who a lot of you will know from popping up in a lot of Apatow movies, he's actually pretty funny, I think. Step Brothers, he also popped up as the asshole brother. So a lot of people would recognize him. He was even in Piranha 3D. He's popped up a lot of places. He's going to play the boss who uses the frustration to kind of get in good with her. So it sounds like he's going to be getting his asshole role again. He seems to be very good at doing that. Mark Wahlberg will get to show off his funny side, and Seth MacFarlane will be able to show whether or not he can actually successfully do a movie. In the case of this one, he's really been successful with all his TV shows, which are essentially just spin-offs of each other. But who knows if that will translate to Hollywood box office success. Now on to Iron Man 3. Apparently, director Jon Favreau, he might be coming back for the role in the movie that he has, but at this point, he will not be returning as director. Different sides of the story. He's saying that he just wants a new opportunity to do something else. A sequel with expectations attached to it is not something he wants to do. Apparently, Marvel has been trying to put a lot more characters of theirs in the new franchise, only because of the fact that they're spinning off and trying to get all their properties going into movies and TV due to the acquisition from Disney. But between them trying to keep their budgets down and the negotiations that had to go on last time to get Jon Favreau to come back, and between that and the fact that they just want a lot going on in it that he doesn't necessarily want to throw in, that has led to him going on to other things. That he's confirmed that his project after this is going to be Magic Kingdom once he's finished up with Cowboys and Aliens, and he will not be directing Iron Man 3. And the exact quote from him is, "I am happy that I had the opportunity to establish the world that these characters can now play in. Iron Man has given me tremendous opportunities." And Kevin and I, which is one of the guys involved on the Marvel side of things, that he does say that he still talks to with ideas for his other movies, so apparently it doesn't affect the relationship. And Kevin and I are enjoying a lot of momentum in our careers thanks to the Iron Man films. I look forward to seeing what others can do playing in the same world. So it kind of sucks that you won't have him around, because that's kind of what made the first two at least grounded. He made the first one a really good film, and though the second Iron Man wasn't necessarily on the same levels, it was still just as good in some people's minds. On to other news, though. Adam Sandler, we told you about him and Kevin James will have another new movie that they're doing together, but he's got some other ideas that he's looking at. Apparently he's looking at a remake of the 2004 French film The Secret Adventures of Gustave Klopp for his Happy Madison company. The story follows a narcoleptic who leads a very mundane waking life, but in his dreams he is an action hero. He decides to try and find a way to make his real life more like his dream life. So that sounds like sounds like Mr. Magoo almost, with action kind of spin on it. So it could be very funny. He's also in talks to star in another comedy right now, the lead role in The $40,000 Man. So as we said before, John Cusack, he will be starring in a new movie as Edgar Allan Poe called The Raven. It's kind of a fictional account of the last days of Edgar Allan Poe. Essentially, it's almost like a mystery wrapped up in a Seven kind of movie, if you haven't seen that. There was a murderer trying to use the seven deadly sins as his way of killing the people that he picked. This is almost like one of those movies where Edgar Allan Poe is trying to figure out who will be next and has like a time limit. So it'll be very interesting. If you haven't seen the photos, definitely look those up. You can type it in Google, John Cusack, Edgar Allan Poe. It'll come right up for you. He definitely looks like he fits the part, and he definitely has the awesome raven on his arm. So he definitely looks the role, fits it very well. It'll be interesting to see if it's as good as the poem in its tone, if it can translate the poem to on-screen box office smash. John Cusack does movies like this every so often, like a weird kind of an Identity or being John Malkovich or 1408, and they usually make him a little bit of money and give him a little bit more pull so he can do some more of his favorite kind of projects. So hopefully this one ends up being a success for him. Last time we saw him on screens was 2012, which did end up making almost $200 million, but it was a huge smash around the world. So obviously he doesn't have to necessarily stick to the usual patterns. So even if this is a little bit of an off-kilter choice for him, it should hopefully in the end be a good one. Now for a last little bit of news that we wanted to tell you about yesterday for the project Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. If you haven't heard of it before, go pick up the book and check it out. Only good things to be said about it. Recently, anyone attached to it left, including the David O. Russell, the director. Now it's taken over by Mike White. Apparently, rumors are that Anne Hathaway and James McAvoy are going to be considered for the two lead roles. Very interesting, considering they both did a period piece set in the same time period, Becoming Jane, which got some notice around award season a couple of years ago. So it'll be interesting to see if they do get involved and end up spoofing it a little bit, but hopefully that ends up being a good project. Now, in a brief recap of celebrity splits that have happened lately, Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens, the High School Musical couple, have now broken up. So it looks like after the picture scandal broke out, took a couple years to still sink that ship. Also, Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett Johansson have broken up. So it is very good to see that my attempts to separate them so I can steal Ryan Reynolds all for myself have worked out in the long run. But now to move on from that awkward moment, we have the debut of the Trailer Park Roundup here on the Daily Dizzle. Of course, the new Pirates of the Caribbean 4 trailer on Stranger Tides debuted in the last day. I have to actually say, after not being too thrilled necessarily with the way the third one went, it actually looks like it's a return to style of the original trilogy, even though they don't have Keira Knightley or Orlando Bloom back. They actually have loaded up the cast more. They traded those two in for Penelope Cruz and for Ian McShane, which if you've seen any movies with them, you know that is definitely a trade-up. I'm very interested in the fact that Disney even got some dirty humor in the trailer later on. Something about Penelope Cruz telling Johnny Depp that she can't get away from him without him pointing something at her, which is definitely the best dirty joke that Disney has gotten into one of their movies in quite some time. But even if you hate anything Pirates of the Caribbean related, if you like Johnny Depp, definitely looks like the Johnny Depp showcase, as was the case with the other ones. Even when it got really random and the movie sucked, he was at least funny as hell. In addition to the Pirates trailer, a few other trailers that we've talked about. The Thor trailer, that is definitely an awesome one. Obviously, it's kind of a ridiculous story, so at times might come off a little cheesy, but the trailer makes it look very epic. The Fast and the Furious 5 trailer just debuted as well. We've got The Rock coming into that. We've got a lot of returning cast members to the franchise, including Tyrese and Ludacris. It's definitely going to be a good movie, tying up all the loose ends almost. So I do not like the Fast and Furious movies. I have to say I'm going to see that one. Transformers 3 trailer, that also came out a little while ago. We talked about that. Even if you hated the second one, this one definitely looks like it has whatever story that one lacked. So hopefully they've got the story wrapped around tight on that one. Sometimes Steven Spielberg let Michael Bay go a little bit on that second one, and that's why Transformers 2 was essentially Bad Boys 2 with a PG-13 rating. It's just a lot of explosions, a lot of crazy stuff going on, not necessarily anything coherent, though when you're watching a lot of explosions, it's alright, though obviously after the 2-hour mark, things start to get a little bit redundant. But now for the big trailer of the day here at the Daily Dizzle, my personal favorite of the bunch. We've got Take Me Home Tonight, the 80s set ensemble comedy starring Topher Grace, Anna Faris, and a few other big comedy names. Pretty much set in the same vein as Adventureland or Superbad almost. Superbad, though it wasn't explicitly set in the olden days, kind of had that 70s vibe to it. So it definitely was set a little bit differently in the time period where everyone was growing up who made it. But still, this one definitely seems like it's going to be a great movie. It's about Topher Grace just kind of chilling at home working at a video store, which I would still be doing if it weren't for that goddamn Hollywood video going under. But regardless, it definitely seems like it could be Tommy Dizzlemit's life story, just hanging around, trying to figure things out. It definitely seems like it's one of those out-of-control comedies that should end up being very entertaining. It comes out in the month of March of 2011, so we will have a lot of coverage leading up to that. Definitely had to give it some coverage here because not a lot of people had heard of it. It's been delayed for a couple years, but they're definitely trying to get some awareness raised for it at this point, having changed the title, having given it a new release date. Hopefully it all pays off in the long run. So that's all the time we've got for today. If you join us tomorrow, we've got a lot more new movie news in the way of Mission Impossible 4, Wrath of the Titans, which is the sequel to the Clash of the Titans. We've got Twitter and the movies, pretty much the biggest movies on Twitter for the year. And we've also got some other big movie news coming out, like a new Ryan Reynolds and Denzel Washington film, among other news bits. Dizzle recommends for tonight, gotta go with Law & Order SVU at 10 o'clock on NBC, 10 o'clock Eastern. So if you don't watch that show, you don't really need to be following. Usually the episodes have some good story arcs that they can wrap up in that time. So don't forget to check out the trailers we just talked about, especially Take Me Home Tonight. Definitely is going to be a funny movie with Topher Grace, my man crush. So you gotta see that on my behalf, please. That's all the time we have, like I said. Join us tomorrow. We've got all that stuff coming, like we said. I'm Tommy Dizzlemits. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow and through the rest of this week. Peace out.